It's Christian Buckley. We're here at ESPC23 in Amsterdam, and we're doing this is the second day, full day, post-keynote panel. I'll let you introduce yourselves.
Hi, so I'm Beatriz Oliveira. I'm the founder and CEO of BindTuning.
I'm Joy Apple, the Director of Success for Orchestry Software.
So it was a great keynote. It was Karuana Gatimu from Microsoft, and of course, a cast of thousands, making sure it all happens. But it was a talk about community and talk about building a community and successful organization and leveraging the new AI capabilities. And Karuana talked about the various programs that she helps run, but also talked about her experience over the course of this last year as Copilot has come online internally. So what were your takeaways broadly? We'll get into some of the specifics.
Okay, everyone's looking at me, so I'll go. I was very excited by today's keynote because I would say Karuana is probably the first voice I heard from Microsoft talking about a human-first approach for technology and implementing technology. And if you're not implementing technology for the humans that are going to be using it, then you're missing the mark and it's not going to be successful. So hearing that reiterated today, for me, it was very exciting, very inspiring. And as she pointed out, and we heard in yesterday's keynotes as well, people are very concerned about the future of technology, where AI is going to go. But just to remember, trust, human first, get those quick wins, what's in it for the end user and the user experience, fantastic.
Yeah, I have to agree. To me, it was not only about the human perspective, but that reflects to the different humans. So how that turns out for the end user, so what, and it's very interesting how she put it in the, so not just the user experience as we know it, but really how you feel as a user. And that's really important. It was very well put. Also as, as someone that uses Microsoft technologies, what does it mean for you? And also in general, as a tech person, how can you really keep up with this amazing pace and incredible pace? Because it can really feel very overwhelming. And actually, I had a post conversation with my team that was there with me. They were feeling quite overwhelmed about all the information, but then the last piece of it that actually gives you very actionable advice. I think it was amazingly put. So very inspirational for me.
Yeah, I highly recommend. If you've not seen it, the recordings will be available. Go take a look at Karuana's keynote from day 2. One of the things that I like, because she had that checklist at the end, to go and do, where it just kind of compacted it all and made it very straightforward. One of the things this is something that I know all of us talk about in the various writings and sessions that we give, but that you can have a very successful deployment of technology, but if end users don't use the technology, it doesn't matter how perfectly it was architected and built and deployed. It was maybe on time and under budget deployment. If users aren't there, it's failed.
Totally.
And so there's, and Karuana talked to, and I'll simplify it slightly, a variation, but she talked about people, process, and technology. And the problem is that as technologists, we put technology first. We're excited about that new technology, and that's the mistake most companies make when we should be putting people first and talking about what they actually need.
In my perspective, I think that as a product company, we always try to think about what the customer needs, okay? So it's not just that we are just thinking about the technology, we're really thinking about the customer. What I really loved about what Karuana shared was that it's not just about the practical needs, but it's really also about how we are feeling about that experience, because sometimes I don't think that tech companies really think about that. So what is the feeling that someone has and how that person is perceiving technology when they get to you? And she mentioned that you can be really skeptical because technology failed you so many times that you are at a point where your first reaction is, you're not going to work for me. So how do you actually drive a person through a very good experience so that turns into something that is successful, something that is what you need and important for your company?
Do you think, with the pandemic behind us that we kind of turn more that inward, or we're looking more at technology? Like, is it actually helping me do what I need versus, hey, I need to learn the new tools, the new technology?
I think so. I think that we all reset a little bit during the pandemic and really took stock what was important. I think corporations did that. Microsoft definitely did that with really focusing on the employee experience and the importance of it. I think for our IT organizations, it's definitely a paradigm shift to think about people first. I mean, like you said, we represent product companies. We're in Microsoft all the time. We love the technology, and that enthusiasm can be encouraging and can help get other people excited about it too. But as you were saying, making sure we're doing that, keeping how they're thinking about it, how they're feeling about it in mind, will really help with that uptick in adoption.
Yeah, that was a shift not only for tech companies. I think it's a society shift that has happened. We are much more concerned about the personal experience, and we really have to be mindful of that, right? At the end of the day, although we do have goals to attain and business goals to attain, we're all people. So when we use technology, that personal side would also be very present there. To me, that part was really amazing, and I definitely recommend taking a look at not only the entire keynote, but that particular slide. It's intense. It's it's not a fancy slide, but it was incredible in terms of the content, and actually a very good layout of what the journey is for a user, in kind of from the inside out. It was amazing.
That's another reason to go take a look at the video, because she did put kind of an eye chart up on the screen and showed like the change process around that thing, and then talking through that. And that's actually something that, for organizations that have not thought a lot about the change management process, we're looking at, with the integration of AI and co-pilot capabilities, a fundamental change in the user experience with the technology. So, I mean, is that something that two of you are already thinking about in your own work, not just what your companies are doing with product, but how is that changing? How are you preparing for that change in the way that you work today?
Do you want to go first?
Sure, definitely. I can't wait to get my hands on Copilot, any Copilot. But thinking about what are those end results going to be from the implementation of the technology, that gets me very excited. Thinking about, and they talk about this a lot yesterday too, getting rid of the drudgery and the things that you do every day. When Karuana brought up the disconnect between emails and Teams and these engaged communities, to have one place that can bubble up all that information. I think we all felt connected in that moment, going, oh, it's not just me. We're all struggling to find where all this data is coming from. So to see it bring things like that to life for everybody, that's going to be a pivotal moment. And to prepare, Karuana mentioned this morning too, we have to keep reiterating the age-old message to our organizations, to our employees, to our colleagues. We've got to get our information architecture in place so we can really leverage it. And
it's funny to say this, because information architecture, folks, has always been important.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, once again, I don't know how we keep saying this,
everything
like, it was important for search, it was important just for data classification, findability of content. It's really important for your information architecture to be ironed out for AI.
Yes.
Absolutely. Just going back to your initial question, as BindTuning, obviously, and I think that every company right now is not only looking at Copilot, but really how to keep up with the expectations from the users, right? So you have a completely different expected experience. So it's not just the experience that you can offer, but what's expected, because people will expect to speak and to use their language to ask for things, and that's the expectation. My personal concern, honestly, not only when I think about the company, but in general, is that we really need to make sure that we bring everyone at the same level, because we're facing sort of this separation between the people that are adopting this new technology really fast and that will be incredibly productive, and the ones that are not. And that honestly is a concern on my end. I think that as businesses, we need to figure out what we can do more to actually make sure that we have everyone at the same level. Otherwise, we will be looking at a future where you will see more discrepancies. So yeah, I think it's a responsibility for us as tech companies.
I made this comment on a panel yesterday that about how I semi-jokingly said that I'm a huge fan of sprawl in content. Because my argument is that sprawl means more people are using the technology.
Yes.
Yep.
I would rather be in an organization that had sprawl problems than an organization where people aren't collaborating together. And so, yeah, it's when more people are using the technology and working together, we all benefit. There's more innovation. There's more iteration around. We're sharing ideas. The output as a company is stronger when we're all participating.
I feel it's interesting too, you mentioned making sure we're all coming up together at the same time and all able to leverage these advances. It feels like the conversations companies had when computers first came on the scene. Who's going to get a computer? Is it the executive in the fancy office that calls the shots and gets the computer? Is that advantageous to the organization? Or should it be the people that were buried in piles of paper this deep and needed to reduce the drudgery of their job? So now as we're looking around, making sure the people that are buried in Excel spreadsheets and emails and all that this deep, making sure if we're doling out those licenses, getting it to the people that are hurting right now, then it becomes more available. They all come up. I think it's an exciting time, and I find that very interesting that it's like that big wheel keeps spinning. We're reinventing the same conversations.
Yeah. Very true. I think that this actually also connects to the second part of Karuana's presentation. I don't know if that was her intention, but to me it really resonated all together. The part of adoption and learning, because we are at a moment where although this technology feels really natural, nevertheless it only works for you if you can really use it, right? So prompt engineering isn't just a buzzword. It's really the thing. So how can you prepare people to use this technology in a way where everyone benefits from it and we're all at the same level? So I think it's going to be challenging. Yeah, the next times will be quite interesting.
Well, I think again, all of the fundamentals of community building, external to the company as well as internally, apply. Having regular training. Karuana talked about making sure everybody at least once a month had a day that was clear. To catch up on training. So really enforce that training. Some people struggle with going. It's like training is paid for, online training is paid for, but they never make time to do that. So they never go and do that. They do the things that are legally required. They don't go and do the additional training courses. And we need to make sure that people are moving down that path, that they're learning at the same speed as an organization, taking advantage of all those capabilities.
Absolutely.
I think we need to make sure that organizations change the culture to respect and encourage that. How many of us block focus time every day, but then we don't honor it, and you book a meeting over it?
I thought you meant when it says, hey, should I block time, and I decline.
Don't do that. Accept it. But then we have to go forward and respect that. I think in our organizations, we have to remember the humans sitting behind those monitors need that time. And we have to respect it, encourage it, and respect it. And that's going to be a culture shift for a lot of it. For me personally, to say, no, I can't take that meeting at that time because I need to focus on some training for a little while, that's hard for me. But it's so important for all of us.
I know there's so many of us that I struggle taking vacations sometimes. Or it takes me 2 days of vacation to stop worrying about the work that I'm leaving behind. And then I enjoy the vacation. And then the last 2 days, I'm worried about everything that I'm going to have to do when I get back in the office. So you get 3 solid days of vacation.
Culture thing, right?
It is. It's a problem.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that it's a responsibility also for leaders, because you end up leading by example. So if you don't really do it and you don't make sure that that is the culture that you transpire for the rest of your company, then it's not going to happen. Because if you're talking and saying that we should be doing it this way, but then, you know, all your examples show in the other direction, then people will actually think that, oh, you're just saying it because, but we're supposed to do it differently.
Yes.
So leading by example is certainly very important, and I think it's the moment for it.
I've got a perfect tagline for this. It's just do it. I think we should go and trademark that, capture that.
Before anybody else does.
I know. I thought of that. Yeah. But well, thank you so much, Joy and Beatriz, for participating in this. And if you want to find out more, again, go watch the Karuana Gatimu keynote to find out more.
Thank you.